Okay, straight into the Spotlight segment now. We shine a spotlight on the founder of the African Movie Academy Awards, Peace Anyiam Osigwe, as she talks about the reason AMA was founded, its growth and its impact over the years on the African movie industry and more. Details in this feature.
Wait let the aeroplane of my enemy smash into the sea.
One day I will leave this house and I'll never return.
18 years after the establishment of the Africa Movie Academy Awards, AMA was created as reward platform for African filmmakers. There's still no doubt that the platform has helped grow and improve the quality of films made on the continent.
Friend.
Sure.
This might sound crazy, but I like you very much.
You know we'll always be together.
The 2022 installment is ready to kick off with chains of activities, and this year's entries comes with surprises. From East Africa's filmmakers from Somalia jump into entry, a Ugandan filmmaker made a high volume of film submission for the very first time.
Well, AMA started because Africa needed its own reward system for African cinema, and that was my fundamental motivation, is that we needed to have a reward system for our films in our own way and in our own world. So really, it was authenticating the African story, both the diaspora as well as the people on the continent, for us to be able to have something that we call our own. And that's what started AMA.
Over the years, some of the biggest stories of AMA have moved from one country to another.
I think that African cinema has grown. And you can look at the trajectory a lot from when even AMA started. There started being a need to be able to make a good enough film to be able to become a winner or submit to the AMAs. And that started being like a level that people wanted to do, and it increased across the world. And as more and more African magic, and of course the streamers, the Netflixes, the Amazon Prime, Honolulu, Disney, everybody started getting into it. So there became a lot of need. And what everybody has to realize is the role Nollywood played. You know, digital cinema, which we kind of pushed the narrative of, helped the African cinema to liberate itself and be able to become more liberated and make more films. Because before, we were so dependent on a particular style of filmmaking, which was from the Francophone areas, and oh, you must have an XYZ amount of money. The demystification of that actually came from Nollywood, and that made it easier for the rest of Africa to begin to express themselves. And that's really one of the things that has helped to grow African cinema.
See as your hair rough, Steph. Very untidy. Which kind of work you do where you make all this money? Let's see. They smuggle drugs.
While the controversy over a Nigerian entry for the 95th Oscars continue, the founder of AMA, Peace Anyiam Osigwe, says a petition has been made and responded by filmmakers about non-eligibility of Nigerian films.
We had Viva Riva, which was one of the films from Congo that won at AMA and went on to do a lot of stuff. We've had Nate Parker win with one of his films. Kunle's film, Figurine, I think. No, it was actually his first feature, won at AMA, and it went on to the BFI. And before that, most of the people who had gotten films were Uncle Tunde Kalani, who we all know, you know, is a master filmmaker. And so AMA's thing, I think people look at it, is like, even if you look at the films that won last year, The Great Digger's Wife, etc., you'll find that there's a certain type of films that win at the AMAs. They may not be your commercial films, but they are very, very professionally made and very interesting films and authentic storylining from Africa. So we tend to celebrate the professionalism of African filmmakers, the quality, standardizations, and that's what makes us very different. And we're a jury system, and the jury has kept its integrity because it's actually totally separate from the day-to-day running of the AMAs.
I need a lot of money.
You are under investigation.
I cannot let that murderer get away with my sister's death.
The Africa Movie Academy Awards begins at the end of the month with a lineup of events, including a fashion show and different capacity building programs besides the main awards night.
I'm going to take off my hat of being the AMA founder and put on my hat of being the president of the Association of Movie Producers, as well as the president of the Federation of Registered Guilds and Associations of the Nigerian film industry. On principle, we as the producers got a lot of petitions from members that there shouldn't have been a reason for non-eligibility in the choices that they had to vote. This made it possible for us to form a committee, first and foremost, to review the petitions as an association for producers, to whether it was worthy to get involved in this or to just allow it. Because, you know, this is Nigeria. There's a lot of things going on in Nollywood, and sometimes you just have to jump and pass some of these things. But it became a little bit difficult, and that was because there were so many comments being flown around, and people were beginning to get petty. So now, a lot of people knew that when Milkmaid got the nominations to the Oscars, in order to get its certification from the Censors Board, because the Censors Board wasn't willing to certify Milkmaid at a time because of the contents of it and Boko Haram, etc. We as a guild fought for it and went to Abuja 18 times, and even had to, we had to go to the National Assembly, we had to go to DSS and go through all the process of making sure Milkmaid got its certification.
If I did friend man like this, 6 months, you never marry me, you never do anything, I'm gonna date other people.
Even Rose go, ó ti sọ pé kí n fún ẹ ní 6 months maximum pé tó o bá ti gbà kí n máa lọ jẹ́jẹ́ tèmi.
Have you heard?